So incredibly helpful. It gives us so much more information. So that when we get to talk about you, we're not like, oh, hey, who did this character? What does he do? But we do know that Far likes to play the Petra as we get right on in to game number 1 of the Losers Finals. And I do believe it's going to be Jerryk over to the Val pick, aka Stevani, that crossover for Val. This is interesting. I didn't expect this coming out from
I didn't either. I didn't either. Coming in, he does have a level 51 Val. So this Stevani pick is definitely not out of left field overall. Still using that same sword skin on the Stevani.
We'll see.
There you see. That's those stats are a little bit messed up. We're just gonna gloss over that. This was the dry. This was the dry run.
Yeah.
This is the first run, so maybe give him a break on that. We'll get those stats clean time.
It goes back to that
rough.
The bug analogy, right? There's flies around Jerryk's head. There's some bugs in the code. It's all right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Far not gonna be bugged by Jerryk in the swap over to the Stevani. Far is getting the damage built up onto Jerryk already. As I don't think Far's taking really much damage at all. That sidelight going to put a tiny bit onto Far. But of course, with these string weapons like the gauntlets, like the guitars, you want to get that extra stuff. You want to get more to get the true damage out.
Stevani just looks so nice, and then that Petra skin, dude, that's a mean-looking Petra skin. Holy cow. Like, Petra herself, like, she looks kind of mean, like she's ripped, and she has that, like, weird kind of demon monster arm thing, and she's got scary spiky hair, like a strong anime character. But like, dude, that skin looks mean.
Yeah, this is a scary skin I would not want to go up against, and clearly neither does Jerryk right now, as that first hit, that neutral signature from Far, gonna take the stock advantage over Jerryk.
Ooh, beautiful hit. I don't think I've really actually seen that many people play with Stevani. I feel like I've never seen that animation before. Looks dope.
Yeah, there's some cool sigs on Stevani. I like the gauntlet side signature as well.
Jerryk has Far over on the edge. Far is able to recover definitely a lot better here against Jerryk than he was against those wisps that Tiger was constantly throwing out. Much more even here than he did in his set against Tiger. Finding nice unarmed damage. Nice little three-piece there. They're going pretty even so far. Jerryk just a little bit in the lead.
This is definitely a lot closer than it started, though. Far had a huge lead to start it off, and Jerryk was able to close that gap just a little bit. We're seeing right now Jerryk with that stage control goes for the side signature, just a classic for those Val players on the corner. Far was ready for it and actually took back the stage control while Jerryk was going for it.
Something also I find interesting is that Far is still, like, even though he's an old head, he's playing a relatively new character.
Very
so he's
true.
not just kind of
definitely not
reverting back to that like old stuff that he was used to, because a lot of the old characters still are really good. Bodvar being one specifically in particular. Everyone used to play Bodvar back in the old days. Did Tiger tell you who Far used to play?
No, but he did tell me that Far will potentially be playing, of course, this Petra, and there is the possibility of a Thor coming out from Far. So we haven't quite seen that yet. We saw the Fate earlier, but that was what Tiger told me, is that Far might be on the Petra or the Thor.
So still, I don't want to necessarily call Fate a new character. She's definitely not. But for someone whose heyday was 3 years ago, that's a relatively new character.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, Scythe didn't exist, Orb didn't exist. I don't even know, did Gauntlets even exist 3 years ago?
They probably did.
Any of those. I don't know. But either way, Far clearly showing they've been putting in the time more recently. They've been really putting in the time to get to know all of these different weapons in Brawlhalla that have been added since they last played. Meanwhile, Jerryk able to stay even with Far. While we keep talking about Far and all the praises, Jerryk has been able to keep this stock count close.
Now this has been a very long game, coming in at about 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and we're still not done yet. Far does have Jerryk possibly in the knockout range, has him in the red, depending on where he finds like a side light, side air. Weapon toss going in. He's going to have to pressure Jerryk with the gauntlets or unarmed. Here comes the weapon spawn. Jerryk throws his weapon away, able to just barely grab that sword. Neutral signature coming out. Far was just a little bit too high. Here comes the gauntlets.
And Far on the gauntlets. We didn't see a lot of Far's gauntlets in the winners finals. Instead, it was predominantly orb focused from Far. And this time you're seeing again Far throwing away the gauntlets. Oh, and he's just gonna wait for it.
He's just gonna eat it, man. That's tough to see. You saw Jerryk. He didn't try to like read that Far was gonna dip off the wall. He didn't hold that right arrow key or button on his controller to try to steer that ground pound. He just did it right along the wall for an easy ground pound.
Yeah, Far kind of deer in the headlights there. There weren't a lot of options that Far could have gone for. Like the unarmed recovery would not have beaten out the gauntlets. So he basically had to time a spot dodge perfectly. And in that position, it's very hard to do. And Far opted to just kind of take it because he was just like, oh, snap, there's a big thing coming at me. That hurts. Meanwhile, that is going to be game number 1, I believe, going the way of Jerryk with this Val pick.
Yeah, it felt like we might be further along in the set just by how long that game felt and was. But no, that was actually just game 1. Coming in to a game here on Miami Dome, we'll see if anything changes. There is a larger sidewall for them to recover back to, so we could see an even longer game. But also, those left and right blast zones, they seem a lot closer than you would expect.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot closer than you would go for like a vertical knockout, especially on Miami Dome. And with some of these signatures, like a well-placed gauntlet side signature from either of these players might be just what they need to get those knockouts horizontally.
Side air from Far, that's going to turn Jerryk orange. Weapon toss going in, immediately picks up the gauntlets and gets the side light off of the stun from the weapon toss. Neutral signature expecting Jerryk to go high. He stays low and gets the punish for the knockout onto Far. Jerryk going to go up. A minute into this game, he was able to take off that first stock.
And already Jerryk stealing the stage control. Far stuck on that left corner. That's going to give Jerryk the opportunity to deny the weapon pickup from Far. The spawn's going to be high in the sky over on Far's side, so he gets lucky from the Brawlhalla gods, but still not able to put out any damage with this new weapon. And he's got to get more damage to get this knockout off of Jerryk.
Saw him maybe trying to get an early one. The sidelight into the neutral signature. Just a little bit more damage was necessary, though. In comes the weapon spawn, and Far almost evening it up.
Yeah, that's a well-placed weapon toss. Actually beat out the recovery from Jerryk. Completely stuffed it, and that means that, that Jerryk just did not have the movement to get back onto the stage.
Far not spending too much time on the ground. Or, sorry, is spending a lot of time on the ground, not spending too much time in the air. He'll go back into the air just a little bit every now and then, but he was trying to maintain stage control a lot by just sticking onto that ground. Neutral signature going to catch him around that left soft platform, almost knocking out off the top. You see those dares trying to zone Far out, maybe catch him as he's recovering back to the main platform. Down signature trying to reach as far as it can.
Nice spot dodge from Far. Jerryk was going for the approach with that sidelight. Far again going for these spot dodges on the approach from Jerryk. Big neutral signature is going to put some damage out, but Jerryk again with that lead in the damage department. Nair doesn't go for the immediate follow-ups. Again, it has increased stun on the Nair with the most recent balance patch, so there's those possibilities of going for more afterwards, but Far maybe not quite ready for it.
Sidelight coming out. Going to interrupt a little bit of Jerryk's momentum. Unarmed recovery not going to be enough to take off the top. Jerryk still has weapon advantage. Far's able to grab the orb. Sidelight side air, going to be the knockout. Again, we still have a pretty long game between these two players, though. We're coming in at about 3 minutes into it. Both of them still very healthy on their final stocks.
Swings. Neither of them able to get too many hits. It's like 1 or 2, and then immediate resets almost every single time. It'll be like 1, then they try to chase dodge for more, but still no huge momentum swings. Nice spot dodge from Far.
Swapping an orb for an orb. Did he throw away the more healthy one?
I don't think so. I think he just swapped once. Again, weapons have durability. The more damage you take, the more their durability goes down. So generally, if you're going to swap for the same weapon, you want the newer one because, of course, it's got that refresh durability.
We didn't see Jerryk re-grab that weapon. He might have been hoping that Far was going to drift a little bit too far into the push-off column, get knocked by it. So even between these two players, 4 minutes into this game. Oh, it's going to be a neutral signature from Far. He's been throwing those out a lot. Hasn't found many connections here at Combo Breaker, but that one he is going to find. Oh, man, he's going to tie the set up 1-1. Little damage difference between them.
2 damage.
2 damage.
2 damage. That's a weapon toss in damage difference between the two of them. But Far able to connect with the neutral signature. Of course, with Miami Dome, with those multi-platform maps like Miami Dome or even those tri-platform maps, it makes it a lot harder to avoid those anti-air signatures because, of course, if you try to go low, you're just going to land on a platform, which will stop your movement and make it very difficult for you. And Far took advantage of that, and that's why Jerryk is getting rid of all those platforming maps, and it's Apocalypse, Demon Island, and Crystal Temple for game number 3.
Had the choice of 0 soft platforms on Demon Island, 1 on Apocalypse, or 2 on Crystal Temple. But I believe the selection was Apocalypse, and it is. This one's going to move, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they deal with that platform as it moves. Neutralite coming out. That's going to be this Stevani from Jerryk picking up the first weapon and the second weapon, opting to go back over to the sword. Another weapon spawn coming in. Are we going to see the throwaway from Jerryk? We are. Getting a fresh sword, controlling all the weapons in this game so far.
Finally, Far is able to pick up a pair of gauntlets and is trying to put out some damage, but Jerryk got a nice little lead from denying weapons from Far. Far going to commit with that ground pound, but Jerryk with the turnaround, downlight side air. Far's in trouble, avoids the weapon toss, has horizontal movement with the side air. Nice, beats the recovery from Jerryk, and this might be a stock, but Jerryk fights back with a recovery of his own.
Jerryk is still really healthy on the stock, man. It was that first like 13 seconds and orange stocks worth of damage that Jerryk was able to put out by grabbing all of those weapons, keeping Far weapon starved. Far's gonna have to fight his way back in this before Jerry finds a knockout.
Goes for the neutral signature, reading Jerryk, maybe trying to jump approach. Sidelight, side air, not quite enough damage onto Jerryk. That neutral signature, plenty of active frames. Jerryk gets caught. Maybe the floaty play from Jerryk starting to get picked apart by Far.
Yeah, especially with that neutral signature and the ending of the last game, which was a gauntlet neutral signature. Now Far is the one attempting to weapon starve. He's able to take that orb away, but the weapon spawn comes in all the way to the left side of the stage, giving Jerryk the edge that he needs to find the knockout here. Minute and 40 seconds into this game. Both players very healthy on their second stock.
Gauntlet pick up from Far. Nice turnaround side air. Decides to go back onto the stage. Knows that neither of them are too damaged, so doesn't want to go for anything too risky. Doesn't want to accidentally lose that stock if he overcommits off stage.
A lot of sword damage coming out from Jerryk.
Really patient recovery from Far though. Made sure to stay off of that right side wall in case Jerryk opted to go for that sword ground pound.
Now we've seen Jerry kind of overcommit a couple times with that sword ground pound when he doesn't have very many movement options left in his kit. I would like to see Far maybe capitalize on that a little bit more now that Jerryk has done it 2 different times.
We'll see if Far has been able to home in on that fact. Good spot dodge to stay above that down signature. Opting to again deny weapons. Ooh, that weapon toss connected on Jerryk, but Far a little bit late to react there. You saw him go for the ground pound, but by that time, Jerryk was already out of that position.
I think he didn't expect it to hit. I wouldn't have either. Like, that was such a slow, arcing weapon toss that Jerryk like had so much time to get out of the way of it, but I guess he had AirPods in, so he couldn't hear it coming.
Could not hear that weapon coming for his head, but still Far able to connect with the side air onto Jerryk, able to take the stock off of him, take that slight lead, and it's going to be a little bit of work from Jerryk if he wants to finish off this stock of Far and close out game number 3.
You saw him attempt that unarmed ground pound, but Far saw it coming, able to dodge through it. Now you see Jerryk, you saw him throw out 2 dares on the edge instead of going in for that sword ground pound like he was doing previously. The recovery's going to drop. Might have led to the knockout, at least could have led to some good damage potential in the air, maybe then later killing with a neutral air, but it's going to be the GCD light into the recovery. Again, long games between Jerryk and Far, which is going to be rough for them in this set now, and it's going to continue to be rough for the person who moves on out of this, just the raw exhaustion of having to play these really long games than going to fight against Tiger in the grand finals.
And what's even worse is like, ooh, nice pickup from the neutral signature. A little bit of the dodgeball play, throwing one weapon up to keep Jerryk's focus, considering he got hit by a weapon toss earlier. And then Far just comes in from below with the arcing neutral signature. Far takes another one, going to be going up 2-1 over Jerryk. 1 game left for Far to close it out and go into the grand finals.
Neither character has been locked in for Jerryk or Far yet. Maybe both of them thinking about it. Thinking about who they want to play going in to this game 4. Far is up 2-1 in the set. Far is going to lock in that Petra. Just default stance here. This level 36 Petra.
I almost don't want to see this Stefani. Yeah, all right. Jerryk going to be going over to the Hattori for game number 4. Jerryk on his last legs here again. Far, if he wins this one, Far is going to be going on into the grand finals. Jerryk's got to win the next 2 games to go into the grand finals to fight against Tiger.
Now, this is level 54 Hattori coming in for Jerryk. So a lot of time spent on this character over in the defense stance, going to give him a little bit more survivability. Maybe he can eat a couple more of those side light side airs before he gets knocked out. Maybe in the early stages of red, those neutral signatures from Far might not quite knock out as early, but still 8 strength on that Petra, man. I feel like that jump from 4 to 5 isn't really going to do that much.
Yo, but it's a 3 difference, right, between the 8 strength and the 5 defense. So it's definitely better than being up against someone who's got double your stat, right? Either way, it all comes down to who's getting hit and who's not getting hit. And right now, it is Jerryk who is taking a little bit more damage, but he does take the damage lead right there with that downlight side air.
Neutral light coming in into the jump. Double chase dodge from Jerryk, completely reading out that gravity cancel neutral signature from Far with the ground pound on that spear kit. Jerryk with just a little bit of a lead. Gets his recovery interrupted just a little bit by that side light from Far. Weapon advantage here.
Ooh, catches him with a neutral there. Goes for the recovery. Wants to get the stock, and Jerryk kind of baiting with that ground pound.
I like that he pulled out of it because he started it so early that you saw Far was already poised to get out of the way of it and get around it and easily punish it on the wall, either with a dare, probably not a ground pound. I don't think he could get that far around Jerryk in time, but most likely a dare or maybe even a side air as a punish option, which could have led to the edge guard, but Jerryk wisely pulling out of it. Side light, ooh, goes for the gravity cancel D-light. Spear looking scary, man. He's doing a great job of zoning Far out.
This is the first time we've seen Jerryk on Spear on stream, and it is looking like Jerryk is having no problems with it at all. Very comfortable with this Spear in hand, but Far with a fantastic spot dodge to avoid that side signature and get a falling side air to punish it and get the stock off of Jerryk. Weapon spawn going to be high in the sky. No, over on the left side, Far right on top of it. Kind of read where it was going to spawn. Was able to deny. Likely will try to deny again. Yep, throws away the orb for these gauntlets.
In comes the spear for Jerryk. Nice side air. He cleans this stock up. We could see a huge lead for Jerryk.
Yeah, but that might be quite an if right now. The side air is enough to put Far off stage. Goes for the gravity cancel side light. The recovery still not enough to get the stock off of Far. And the longer it takes Jerryk to get the stock off, the more opportunities Far is going to have. But Jerryk connects with the sword recovery.
This game going considerably quicker than the previous ones. We're about 2.5 minutes in, and now Far is on his final stock. So Jerryk's pacing is much better this game compared to the previous ones, and Far is significantly behind. does turn Jerryk orange. If Far is able to find the knockout options at the right time, this stock could be gone very quickly.
You're seeing Jerryk make sure he's not in the position for it, but the side light sets up for the side air. Jerryk gets put off screen, but still has the movement to get back onto the stage. Hattori with plenty of movement. That's going to apply to the air movement as well. But again, the side air is from Far for finishing off stocks.
Jerryk's lead is shrinking ever so lightly. Gonna be the sword coming in for him. He has Far in the orange. About 100 damage difference between these two. Ooh. Here comes that
dodge from Far.
That fearsome spear for Jerryk, and he is going to even up the set. 2-2. We're going to game 5, the Hattori swap. Doing so well for Jerryk. His spear is looking fantastic.
Yeah, this is a really smart pick coming out from Jerryk. Of course, he had the sword earlier, and this is where we're seeing Far forced to make the swap in game number 5. Far over to the Thor. Is it going to be enough to take game number 5 and go on into the grand finals, or Jerryk with the swap over to the Hattori going to be able to close it out? Of course, the spear, which worked so well for Jerryk, tends to do well against Hammer as well, so this might be troublesome for Far, but Far is, of course, going to have more defense with this Thor.
Yeah, they're going to trade the disparity between Far's attack compared to Jerryk's defense to Jerryk's attack compared to Far's defense. Going from that 8 to 5, now from 4 to 8.
Far trying to reach with these sidelights, but Jerryk just a little bit too close. Nice neutral light sends Jerryk off stage. Jerryk with a very high recovery, and Far was trying to catch him with that hammer yo-yo, but Jerryk not going to be caught by it.
D-light side air from Jerryk, the weapon toss. That gets the dodge from Far. He's able to zone out Jerryk with a neutral air. See if we see a ground pound on the edge. No, it's just going to be a side air. He was just matching the height of Far, throwing out that side air for the knockout.
Yeah,
maybe 120, 130 damage on this stock.
A little bit of damage onto Jerryk, a little more than a little, but still, it's going to take some work from Far to finish off the stock, especially because Far's primary knockout option has been Orb side air.
We're seeing some of the Thor signatures coming out. That neutral signature on Thor Orb might be able to contest a little bit better with the ground pound that Jerryk has on Spear.
Might take a little bit of precision, though, from Far to connect with it. It can have really good priority, but right now, he needs to finish this stock off of Jerryk. Over to the hammer, a little bit more kill potential. But he dodges right on into a side air. Oh! Neutral air to beat out the ground pound. That'll do it for Far.
There's the backside of that neutral air hitting as a hitbox above and behind you that you can still hit with. Jerryk still has a very solid lead here. Has Far in the orange. 1 or 2 more hits, probably going to be in the red.
Big side airs. Jerryk just needs another one. Trying to stay horizontal with Far, but didn't quite find the opportunity to connect with the side air. That one will put Far very far as the weapon toss cleans up the stock. And again, Jerryk going to be sticking with the spear.
It's Jerryk continuing this lead that he had before. The last time he got the knockout, we also saw about 120, maybe 130 damage on this stock. Far was able to clean it up relatively quickly, but still, the story is Jerryk gets the first kill, and Far is behind him. Jerryk gets the second kill, and then Far is behind him.
Slide charge with the down signature, trying to chase after Jerryk, but the recovery doesn't have enough movement onto it. He needs this stock. Sidelight side air is going to do it for Far. It's going to put them both into final stocks. Not a massive lead for Jerryk. This could go either direction. Who's going to go into the grand finals to fight Tiger?
Weapon spawn comes in. It's a sword for Jerryk. He's been more successful with the spear thus far, but his sword still looks really solid. Are putting a lot of distance between him and Jerryk.
Really
now he's chasing after him.
Jerryk going to be going over to the spear, though. This has been the weapon that's been doing a lot of the work for Jerryk. Downlight side air connects. Far in trouble. Does get the wall touch. Barely manages to avoid the side signature. Turn around, down airs. But Jerryk gets up.
Even though that might have been a big opportunity for Far, he wasn't able to convert it into a knockout. Still put out a lot of damage. These two are basically even. The down air is going to bounce Far off the stage. There is still a weapon spawn on the field. It looks like neither player wants to the possibility of disarming themselves. D-Light side air. Thor's defense just barely holding on, waiting as long as he can before he throws out the unarmed recovery. Multiple weapon spawns on the field. Far getting through Jerryk, but a DC side sync for the knockout in Game 5. Jerryk is going to take it.
Jerryk staying composed, takes out Far to go into the grand finals against Tiger, but a fantastic run from Far, coming from 3 years back to make his name known here in the top 3 of the Southeast Asian region for Combo Breaker. Unfortunately, that means his run is over, and Jerryk gets to continue. But now Jerryk, after a very grueling best of 5 in losers finals, now has to go for 2 best of 5s in the grand finals.
We already have